Right, let's have a look over the S&P 500 from the weekend and see where we've got to. Um, okay, so what can we see from here? So for starters, we've been rejecting a few of these moving averages, and we've only been holding, certainly in the half an hour chart, which is what we're on now. We've not really been holding any moving averages at all. So we came down, tested this 200, tried to get back up, just failed and came back underneath. One last attempt, failed, and then by this point the 100 and 200 just crossed over, straight down. Found a little bit of support, come back up, had a nice strong rally, break through the 100, a little bit of resistance at the 200, but not a problem, break straight through, and up to the, sorry, this is the 100, not the 50, straight up to the 100-day moving average. We rejected yet again, straight back down under the 50, back up for another go, nah, not happening. And eventually, tried it for a second time. Looks like they went to go for a third time, didn't do particularly well, sold off again. Found a bit of support at a slightly lower level this time, so less buyers in. It's gone back up. Again, rejected that 50 period moving average, and it's come back down again. Now we have come back with a slightly higher low, so looks like people are slightly more bullish. This area obviously got bought. It's not quite as high as the previous zone, but it's sort of in the middle, so there's not as many buyers as there were here, but there's certainly not as many sellers as there were here, or as few buyers as the other side. We then gone back up, bit of hesitation at the 50, but not a problem, straight through. Found support at the 100, back up, but rejected the 200, back down to the 100 for support, rejected the 200 again, straight back down, and then into the close we've just been rejecting the 50 again, so not particularly brilliant. And bearing in mind that, what we've got here, that's 9 o'clock at night, universal time, so that's what, 5 o'clock in the afternoon in New York. So where's the open going to be? That's 9. So, yeah. So this is sort of the trading day, really, if you will. And this is the pre-market. So we're buying the pre-market, but we're selling the US Open. So we've switched around. Now the half an hour is not looking too brilliant. Arguably, there's a bit of support. We did close slightly higher. I won't say there's a straight line here, but it depends. Let's see if we can get anything out of this. I don't think it's going to offer anything, but no, not really. I suppose you could argue it's a breakdown and retest, but I think that's a bit of a silly argument, to be honest, more than anything. Just get rid of that. Right, let's have a look at it on a slightly higher time frame. We'll go up to the hour just to see what the hours are offering us. The hour's not really too keen from a technical perspective. It does obey the moving averages, but not as much as what it does in the 30. The 30-minute chart seems to be more accurate. There's a clear rejection of the 50 here, but nice W, clear rejection of the 100. But in the middle, it's a bit sort of all over the place. So we'll move on to the 4 hourly, see what that's offering. Okay, let's zoom out. So there's a lot of red wicks here. It's the first thing I can see, which means there's a lot of selling. It's like the whole gravestone doji idea. We don't seem to be obeying these moving averages particularly well, so I'll not consider the moving averages for the 4 hourly. But we can certainly see this shift, if you will, and it's happening a little bit here. Nice big down, but we came back, and then we just got this huge sell-off, attempt to get back up, huge sell-off, not happening, and then a rally, all this fake stimulus news and all that crap, and then you've got this rolling out. It's not happy. These are big sellers coming in, you know, and then somebody else is buying, and big sellers coming in, and then buys, big sellers coming in, and then it's bought in the pre-market. You know, this is the open. This is all the quants, the computers, all selling during the day, and then someone buying at the pre-market is, you know, retail and whatever, buying the pre-markets. So, and again, we get back into the open. What time is this here? 2300. I'm pretty sure 2300 is probably going to be around the time that we open, but can't confirm it. So going into the close, okay, we did reject that 50 moving average on the 4 hour. So, you know, arguably, yeah, that could hold, and it was during the trading day as well. So with these moving averages, if we hit and test a moving average, that's brilliant, but I would take more consideration to testing and holding moving averages during the main trading session, because that's going to give you the indication as to what everyone's thinking, not the pre-market pump ups. You know, if that held a moving average, it, you know, means very little, but this is a bit more important. So this is your main trading event here. We just sold off during the day. But let's have a look on the larger time frames for the long term guys. Daily, I mean, there's no moving averages getting involved here because we just saw highly pumped up. But what can we see? Right, well, we've got a few red candles. It's, yeah, and again, it's showing the same thing, which is we opened here and we closed at the bottom in all these candles because obviously, you know, red. But there's quite a big bit of variation, so you can see the same thing again. Open high, get pumped up a little bit, sell during the day, sell during the day. I mean, this one came back and pumped up, so not too bad. But sell during the day, sell during the day. So it's a stark change from, you know, just permanent greens and buy. But we've been sat in this channel now for quite a while, so this is something worth considering. So if we just draw a trend line, you can see the upper line here. So we just draw, it doesn't have to be perfect, but, you know, yeah, well, every time we hit that peak, boom, sell off. We didn't even get to it that time. Rally off to the moon. It's just going to have a blow off top. Nah, rejected. Well, but again, off, blow off top. Nah, rejected. Well, we've retested the 50 days, so straight back up. This time it's definitely going to happen. But look, you know, volume's just dropping down. These candles are getting smaller. Consolidated, and then boom, straight up. You know, I mean, if you were bullish, what I actually expected to happen was this to touch this and then just ride it up, and then go. And that could have been your blow off top, but it's just not happening. It's, you know, hits, rolls over, bit of a pump, roll over. It's not happy. So I don't know. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can figure out where this channel's going. So the main section of the channel's here. I mean, you can ignore some of these wicks as one-off. That was a failed breakdown, like a false move, lower, and we've tried to get back up. We got back up into this channel. As long as we're holding this channel, arguably you can go, yep, things are bullish, if you will. So potentially, I don't know, if all things go well, we could you can see next week, you know, perhaps go back up to here again before another roll off, I would have thought. But the thing I'm going to be looking at now, I'll explain it in a minute, is we could very well gap down to here. And if we do, that's probably not going to be particularly a good sign for things. Let's have a look, see if we can see anything a bit more longer term. Alright, so we've got moving averages. They're not miles lower, but they are a bit lower. And a constant retest of the 50 is always good. It's looking like we're probably. I think we're going to sell off, and I think we'll go down to at least sort of in between the 50 and the 100 to have a good sort of consolidation before we go higher, if we're going to stay on the bullish side of things. That's probably what you'll be looking at, because it's just we're running out of momentum. There's just no momentum. You see the strength in these here. I mean, that had a decent correction, then wham, straight up. and then after these lows, wham, straight up. It's just bullish, big candle, finish with a big candle, sell off, retest, and it's clear moves, just green every single day, going higher, and that's strong. That's strong momentum. That's the kind of thing that you'd be a bit silly to short it, really, because it's just not going to happen. This is, you can see there's a lot more movement. We're within this channel. The days are a lot smaller. The volume's a lot lower. We're selling off a little bit, and it's just not as bullish as this. So I think what we're likely to see is a bit more of a sell-off. But ironically, it's literally 12 months to the day. This is the March sell-off. I mean, just look at the shape of that, and look when it happened as well. Then we had these couple of days red, and then we gapped down to the 50, and then boom, straight down. I mean, imagine if we just do the same thing again, open up, somewhere down here, and then just boom, straight down. And we could be down to the 200-day moving average, but by the end of next week, or at least a week later, if things do sell off. Do I think it's going to happen? Well, I suppose the odds are against it not happening, so probably have to say that. But at some point, I do think we're due a correction. But if you look here, it was the 21st of Feb, 21st, so Friday was the 21st, and we reopened on the 24th, that gap lower. If we go up to here, we are on 19th was the Friday, and then it's going to be the 23rd when we open. So it's like I said, it's pretty much to the day, if you will, that all this is happening. So it's one thing to consider. Let's have a look at on the weekly, see what the weekly is telling us, because this is where things get a bit more interesting, I think. So we'll just clear this chart out. Okay, what's this telling us now? It makes me laugh every single time I see that, how much higher we've gone. But we've got a nice red candle here for the week, and that does set us up very nicely for a move lower, and it's not very favourable for the bulls. Let's see if we can sort of work out where things are going with this. So if we do a trend line, arguably we've got this triangle pattern which has been formed. If we start from the low down here, just move it in a minute. Where are we? So we assume somewhere down there, and then so this is your trend here. So every single time we get back to this line, we've been buying. Come back up, tested this line, bought it, and even on this sell-off here, we bought this line again. So this is obviously, it means something to the market at the moment, this line, whatever it means. But it's of value. Is it possible that we're getting to the end of this channel? Yeah, potentially. But I mean, arguably, there's only 1 point for this trend line here. I don't know if we extend it further back down here, if it does anything a bit more significant. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so we tested some of these zones. It's a bit of a zone here. Resistance again. So we're forming this sort of wedge, if you will, that's just narrowing. Usually an ascending triangle like this goes to the downside, so in theory we could probably keep going towards the end and then boom, straight down, but I don't know. Looking at this, maybe we've probably got another couple of weeks, so that's taking us to the 8th of March. And then at some point we're going to have to go down and really retest this 50-week. Even if we can just get down to that. It's important to remember, as much as I'm bearish in the economy, stocks are traded in momentum algorithms, and these algorithms will almost always buy as long as they can, as long as they've got a good reason to. Which with these indexes, they don't really have a reason not to. So they'll buy and they'll keep pumping it up, because there's always someone stupider who'll pay more money. So really we're looking at least for a decent correction to find ourselves a nice entry, if nothing else. And there's no reason why we couldn't go down lower and then start just, this could be, you know, a regular trend now. Every sort of 12 months we go into this, you know, sort of pattern. So it's something to look out for. If we zoom in a bit more, what does it offer? Yeah, nice red candle. Wherever your support's going to be. I mean, from a major standpoint, this is going to be a good support level. So these peaks here, and there's a little bit of a gap. It was filled, but there was a bit of a gap here. So you can see this is obviously a zone where people are willing to buy in. So that's going to be a first point to consider. We'll have to go back into the daily to find a more accurate resistance zone. Yeah, here would be another one. This bottom sort of conforms with this peak and this peak here from the. And this is when Pfizer released that vaccine, you know, and we jumped up. What was it, like $250 or something within about 2 minutes, and then straight back down again. And then since then we've just, you know, any news hasn't really done anything. And this is why I'm starting to change my tone a little bit and be looking for an entry for the downside, because back here every time a bit of news was released it was boom, straight up, you know, oh good news, boom, straight up, oh good news, straight up, vaccine, brilliant, $250 in a day, and then what, the week later, no more vaccine news, well it moved up a little bit but nothing major. Another week later, I think it was the third vaccine news again, you know, moved up a little bit but nothing major, and then now just doesn't matter if it's good news or bad news or whatever, it just doesn't seem to do an awful lot. I mean, Yellen said yesterday about doing the biggest stimulus pack going and spending trillions and all this, that, and we finished the day red. And we didn't really move much within that day. So if you take news as a consideration, because I mean the algorithms do, then this is a good indication. Everyone's all in. So now is the time where you're going to be considering taking profits, because when things stop going up, there's only one way they are going to go, and that's down. So there's your long-winded update for the S&P 500.